everyone, Alexa Donne here, and today I am giving you some more tough love writing advice. I have been honestly overwhelmed by the positive response to my first harsh writing advice video, which I did as an exercise in tough love, but also a little bit of fun. I hammed it up a bit, giving you that tough talk about writing. And I realized once the first one was up that honestly I have even more tough love to give you. As with the first video, take this in stride. I'm kind of ramping up the drama on all of this harsh writing advice, but all of this is meant in good faith and love, and if anything I'm saying doesn't work for you, you don't have to take any of the advice. But so many of you loved the tough love, harsh advice, pep talk style, so I'm here with more of that for you. A lot of this is directly related to writing, but some of this tough love is about the industry. So the first piece of harsh writing advice I have for you is stop making excuses about not having enough time to write, because you do have the time. You just have to want to make the time. Every single writer has to do this. No one really has the time. We're all incredibly busy. We have responsibilities, jobs, family, and so on. And the reality is something's gotta give if you are being serious about writing. You make the time. You get up early before work to write. You stay up late. You don't watch the TV show you wanna watch. You don't make plans with your friends on the weekends. You make the time to write. Now, of course, there are always going to be times when you just don't have the emotional bandwidth or you need to exercise self-care, but I'm not talking about those times. I'm talking about all of you out there who are making excuses for why you can't write because, oh, you just don't have time. I guarantee you that 99% of the time, something can be thrown out of your life schedule so you can make time for writing. All of us have to do it, so buck up, buttercup, and make the time. My second piece of tough love about writing is that honestly, writing is simply easier for some people. Some people have an easier time writing. This is a harsh reality because essentially writing and the industry and talent isn't fair. There are people out there who are just naturally more talented at writing. There are people out there who do have more time than you do. There are people out there who have this ideal set of traits that makes them a natural at writing. It's harsh truth that you just have to accept. And then the key is, what are you gonna do about it? Because the flip of that is, hard work can take you a long way. Just because someone else is more talented than you are or writing comes more easily to them doesn't mean you can't bust your ass to get things done and get just as far as they do or even surpass them. Putting in the work, putting in the time does make a difference. But just know that, yeah, for some people, it is easier. Harsh reality 3 is how you debut matters. The first piece of writing that you put out into the world as your professional writing debut matters. People do consider first impressions, so the first creative work that is associated with your name can often stick with you and follow you forever. And so really the harshest advice I can give you is that if you are impatient and you're rushing and you just want to hit publish on something but you're not taking care with what that thing is, well, how you debut matters. There are always workarounds like changing your name or just letting enough time pass that people forget about a bad debut. But the tough love here is that it does actually matter and that this industry does reward a little bit of patience and strategy when it comes to your creative career. You can also do everything right and your debut still doesn't go the way you want it to. And you just have to kind of grin and bear it, acknowledge it, strategize to move forward, and move on. And this brings me to harsh reality of writing number 4, which is simply that publishing isn't fair. It ain't fair. It's never going to be fair. Some people have it easier than you. How you debut matters and you can't necessarily control that. And the market leads. Readers are fickle. Really, so much in publishing is out of your control, and then it's not fair. It's not about rewarding who works the hardest. It's not even always about rewarding the most talented or the best book. There are books that do astronomically well, and there are amazing books that never make it. Some people do have unfair advantages. It's easier for them to get their foot in the door of publishing. And that's just kind of the way it is. You just have to do your best and work around it. Because harsh reality number 5 is that great books fail all the time. It's not necessarily about quality or, as I mentioned, how good you are. Sometimes you're just unlucky. Things don't go your way. You either never get your shot on that amazing book that you wrote, or you publish it yourself and no one reads it, or you get an amazing huge book deal and then no one cares, or you're badly reviewed, or you just fall into a black hole. It happens all the time. And you just have to be resilient and pick yourself back up and move forward, or you let publishing swallow you whole. Now, harsh advice number 6. I am talking to all y'all out there who have a ton of side hustles, who have a ton of creative projects that are kind of tangential to writing, but are not actually writing. Hi, I'm talking to you, Alexa Donne, with your YouTube channel. JK, kind of. But what I'm meaning to say is that side businesses and side hustles and side projects that you do that are kind of dancing around writing aren't writing. And in fact, if you do all of these side things in lieu of seriously writing, of writing books, of completing projects and getting out there and actually being a writer, that you're essentially spinning your wheels and wasting your time. There always has to be balance between all the side stuff that you do and actually writing. And this ties directly into my 7th piece of harsh writing advice, which is many people are more in love with the idea of being a writer than actually being a writer. It's easy to talk about writing, to style yourself a writer, to be really great at Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or what have you, or starting other businesses. You can do those things if you were doing them and actually writing and actually pushing forward in your writing career. But after a while, you're just spinning your wheels because you like the idea of being a writer. You like styling yourself as one and kind of doing all of this stuff on the internet, but you're never actually writing and moving forward in your writing career. Some people just like to play at being a writer, and you're not a writer if you're not actually writing. So the harsh advice is stop bullshitting on social media and on the internet and actually do the work. Make the time, sit down, write the books, deal with the fact that publishing is super unfair, writing isn't a meritocracy, and just do the work. And even when you do the work, it's not always necessarily going to work out the way you want, which brings me to harsh piece of advice. Number 8 is that not everyone is going to love everything you write. Nothing is universally loved, and inevitably, someone's gonna hate you. And you're gonna have to learn to deal with that. You're going to have to learn to deal with rejection, with criticism, or just with people being assholes. Because people tend to be real assholes, especially on the internet. But people love having opinions. I mean, we love watching people having opinions. Who doesn't love watching or reading a great rant review about something? But if you are a writer and you are putting yourself out there, that rant review could be about you, because once you put something out into the world, it no longer really belongs to you. And you are open season. People can say anything they want about you. They're really saying things about your work, but damn if it doesn't feel personal. So the harsh advice is that you essentially have to develop a thicker skin. You gotta toughen up. You have to acknowledge and just be zen and one with the idea that not everyone is gonna love what you do. And you're gonna have to brush stuff up, let it roll right off your back. Because if you let any negative review or criticism destroy you, you're not gonna make it, honey. You gotta be more resilient than that. Number 9 is that just because you've got a great idea doesn't mean you should write it. Sometimes there are simply projects and ideas that are so far outside of our lane or just really badly timed that you shouldn't do it. And I know what you're thinking. I already know what's going to be in the comments of this video. How dare you? Anyone can write anything. It's about empathy. It's about being human. Yeah, okay, sure, but we're not living in La La fantasy land. We're not existing and writing in a vacuum right now. The reality right now is that some people don't need to tell other people's stories. I want you to really carefully consider your ideas, what they are, and why you want to write them. So why do you want to use rape as a plot device? Why do you want to write the experiences of a minority character if you're a middle-class white person? The soul searching of why you want to write certain ideas, why you feel that you're the person to bring this idea to the market, that process is really valuable. And you may find at the end of it, you know what? You can write this thing. You're going to do it really sensitively. You're going to do research. Now, I will also caution you that sometimes doing the research and writing it sensitively and getting sensitivity readers just simply isn't enough. And that's the harsh part of this, the tough love of this. Honestly, sometimes no matter how sensitively you approach something, it's just not gonna work. You are the wrong person to write the idea. And sometimes you're gonna prove me wrong, but sometimes you're going to power forward and you're gonna get a lot of flack. You're gonna get a lot of blowback, and I'm just here to warn you that you need to really consider what ideas you work on and why you want to write them, why you are the right writer to write something. And sometimes the answer is to take a step back and go, you know what? That's a great idea, but I just don't think I'm the right writer to write it, and don't. And 10, my 10th harsh piece of writing advice, just sad reality, tough love, is voice matters. Having great voice in writing matters a lot. It can be make or break for a career, and you can't teach voice. You really can't learn voice. I can't even specifically tell you what voice is. Voice is like pornography. You know it when you see it, and you do too as a reader. When you pick up a book and you are reading it and you get this sense that no other author could write like this, no other author does write like this, or you read a line and you go, oh, that was written, oh, that's Hemingway, that's Stephen King, that is J.K. Rowling, or whomever, what have you. Or if you're reading something and just mood and tone and atmosphere and a specificity drips off the page, that's voice. And the thing is, you can't teach that. You can attempt to develop it as a writer, and I do encourage you to try. But this kind of brings me back to the writing is easier for some people. Some people just have it. They have talent, they have voice. The grammar and usage are second nature to them, so they naturally write clean, beautiful prose, and thus they have an easier time of producing a great book. Really, the harshest thing I can tell you is that nothing about writing is fair. Yeah, I mentioned that publishing isn't fair, but really writing isn't fair. Nothing that's created to talent and the creative arts is ever going to be fair. And so you just have to acknowledge this, not get your knickers all in a twist when things aren't easy or going your way or predictable. Nothing in writing, in the creative arts, in this industry is predictable. You just gotta buck up, buttercup, put on your big kid panties, and deal. That's really the harshest advice I can give you, that life isn't fair, writing isn't fair, none of this is easy, though it is easier for some people, and you just gotta deal with it. Because the reality is if you love writing and you love storytelling and you're in this for the right reasons, all of this stuff will suck. You're not gonna enjoy it, but ultimately it's not gonna matter because you love writing and you love story. You don't just like the idea of being a writer, you're actually a writer who writes things. You don't let yourself get distracted by side businesses and side hustles, pouring years of your life and energy into those things instead of actually writing books. So consider this your kind of holistic writing and kind of career harsh writing advice video. I just want you to kind of be prepared for how hard it all is, because it is really, really hard. You're gonna have amazing days and you're gonna have really shitty days, to be perfectly honest. There are going to be days where you hate everything. And unless you're resilient and you're able to kind of pick yourself up and just forge forward and deal with it, then you're not gonna make it. So, was that harsh? I don't know. Honestly, I think in the first one, I kind of really leaned into being like mean and giving you the pep talk, but I'm always gonna default back to kind of the like motherly thing, because honestly, I just wanna arm you with as many tools as I can to help you deal. Because I've had people in my life who have given me similar kind of tough love talks and they have helped me deal. It's been blog posts, it's been direct conversations with people, it's been amazing panels that I've seen at conferences. Really, ultimately, the important thing is that we be open and honest and transparent, and we talk about kind of these harsh realities. We process our feelings on them without running our mouths on social media. Be really careful what you say on social media and kind of how you vent. You just kind of deal with it and you decide whether or not all this is worth it to you, whether you're willing to deal with all of this stupid, awful stuff because you love writing and you want your words to get out there and you want to be published. You want to just deal with all the hard knocks that you get when you're pursuing publishing your book and just kind of go forward with that. So I honestly hope this was helpful. I hope this was as pep talky as the last one, that it gave you guys what you needed. You all loved the kick in the pants. I hope there was some pants kicking here. Let me know down below in the comments any questions you have. Are there harsh truths or tough love realities about writing and the industry that people have given to you that have really given you fresh perspective and helped you in your career? I'm curious. I've obviously shared the ones that have helped me in kind of processing, and I'm passing on that tough love to you. So I'm curious. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I will make more kind of tough love. I think we're gonna start calling this tough love instead of harsh advice. And I will try to do more pep talks because y'all want them. And I actually like giving pep talks. I try to kind of balance the harshness with the positivity, or kind of the pragmatism. We're gonna call it pragmatism. So yeah. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week, all about writing and craft, the industry, survival tips, and so on. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, happy writing.